Coming up on this episode of The Village Idiom.
When we were in Vegas, we went to go see an Elvis impersonator in this like sketch old place, and they didn't even have bookings like via Ticketmaster. It was still a phone service. And it was weird because when you called in, and as it was going through in its options, you had to press 1 for the money or 2 for the show.
Dum dum da da. Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every week we choose a popular saying, guaranteed to take a shallow, hopefully comedic, once in a while even interesting, and if we're lucky, educational dive into its meaning, its usage, its origins, and the one thing we're for sure going to do is hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark. To my side,
I'm Skitty.
You sure are.
It's guaranteed that there will be directionless conversation. If you can take guarantee, but it doesn't say guarantee on the box.
I could stamp guarantee right on the box.
You could take a dump into a box and I could stamp guarantee on the side, but what you're getting.
Do you know what movie you're quoting?
That sounds very much like Tommy Boy.
Let's see if I can get this going here this time.
Sure.
No, I can't. I'm useless.
The salesman has left the building.
There it is.
Chris Farley.
Oh, muted everything. Chris Farley. Yeah. And
Elvis has left the building.
see what I'm thinking? I try my best, and things just
Hey, we're sorry you're deaf out there, but that's okay.
on their own are.
We're trying to get your heart going for your exercise regiment.
Elvis has left the building. The salesman has left the building. That was from Tommy Boy. Our idiom today is Elvis has left the building. And when I first came up with this, I wasn't sure it was an idiom. I'm like, isn't it just a piece of rock and roll history? But it is 100% an idiom.
Anything that doesn't mean what it means, what it says it means.
I think this word that you say means what you think it means.
You keep on using this word, and I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah.
Inigo Montoya was right. Elvis has left the building.
Is that who said it first?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So yeah, it's for sure an idiom. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have used it. Everybody's used it. And this was probably the easiest one to find clips on. Like it's in
sure.
everything.
It's very popular.
Everything. And I tried to get a little montage because we'll get into its meaning and origins or whatever, but it's also has deviations all over the place. Like the salesman has left the building.
Right.
The princess has left the building.
It's so well known.
It's so well known, yeah. So I chose not to make a game for this
it
because
seems like Elvis has left the building.
I think we all know.
One, in feudal Japan.
Oh, I have Elvis. I should have brought. Don't I have Elvis behind us here?
That's good.
I got a little Elvis down there. I'm actually a big fan of more Elvis movies than Elvis music. So, like, I have several.
I like his barbecue, his method. He had a specific.
You're thinking of Elvis Stoico.
His skating, but no, Elvis had that barbecue method because he.
Is this a real thing?
Yeah, no, he loved meat tender.
Oh, there it is. I'm
Yeah.
like, I've never heard. Is there an Elvis barbecue? I want it.
I've actually got a little Elvis trivia today to see if
The problem with that barbecue is one side burns.
I don't know that one.
Sideburns?
Oh, sideburns. I'm like one side burns. That sounds like a Johnny Cash song.
One side burns.
It's like Ring of Fire, but for those who've had a stroke.
One side burns.
One side burns. Oh, you need some ointment on half of that.
So the idiom today is Elvis has left the building, but Elvis stuff in general. You had Elvis trivia. What did you say you had?
Oh yeah. I came up with I was looking through Elvis related things, and I'm like, I wonder what you knew or didn't know, or what the illegitimate children.
Bring it on! I love
to-
Elvis.
needed
I shouldn't say I'm a fan of Elvis because there are crazy fans of Elvis, but I enjoy me an Elvis movie.
Okay, here we go. Some 5 pieces of Elvis trivia. I'll try and word them maybe to give you to put it into some sort of question format, so the illegitimate children, while on their way to work or on their exercise equipment, can chime in. Okay, question 1. Did Elvis have a twin brother?
Oh man, didn't he have a twin brother that died, drowned or something? I want to say drowned twin brother.
Well, I guess if he drowned in amniotic fluid because he was stillborn. That's a little dark.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was right.
So yes, he had a twin brother that died at birth. Very little kind of unknown. As I'm like, what? Elvis had a twin brother?
Yeah, I knew there was a twin brother. I just knew he didn't exist, and I couldn't remember how.
That is really quite astounding that you actually knew that.
Give me another one. I know my Elvis stuff.
I'm actually impressed. You're messing me up. Okay, I've got another one. Okay, here we go. Elvis was a black belt in Kendo.
Yes, 100%. That actually influenced some of his outfits.
So I'm
his dance
I'm gonna
moves.
give you half because it was karate. He was a black belt in karate.
Oh.
So close enough.
I knew he was a black belt.
Elvis was a black belt.
I don't even know what kendo is, actually.
I think it's the one where they have like the sticks, like it's a sword.
Oh, okay. He
Yeah.
probably dabbled in that.
Well, it's
But black belt in karate.
a little
Whoops, I
dabble,
just
do you?
jostled
go.
the camera. I apologize. Earthquake here at the studio.
Elvis, as an artist, performed in more countries than any other artist in history ever.
Untrue. 2 countries.
This
There's rumors that he went to Paris, but I'm pretty sure it's just United States and Canada. Colonel Tom Parker wouldn't let him tour anywhere. Found out later it was because he was an illegal immigrant and couldn't leave the country and wouldn't allow Elvis to go by himself.
you're blowing my mind right now.
Am I right though?
Yes, it
It's
was.
not
He
2,
only
right?
toured in the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, and 3 dates in Canada one
And
time.
it was only 3 dates in Canada. There's no, like, I can see that you're not looking at a screen.
I've watched so many Elvis documentaries.
This is ridiculous. I don't even know why I'm trying now. I'm going to have to, okay. An Elvis extravagance story.
Extravagelvis.
Okay. On one particular limo ride, what did he tip the limo driver?
I don't know. I'm surprised it was anything. I'm gonna say a new car.
Well, you'd be accurate. He tipped him the limo.
Oh,
You can keep this.
yeah, I'd call that a win.
I'm gonna say you somewhere in the back of your brain you
Yeah.
actually knew that there was something in there. That's pretty amazing. Okay, now final one.
Yeah.
Village Idiom children. This is like total classic water cooler material. So let's see if you can use this at all today. Elvis had 14 Grammy nominations. How many did he actually win, and in what categories?
I don't know.
I just ramped up the hardness because you were just slaying these.
Yeah, I'm gonna be crazy because I don't know the answer. I'm gonna say 0.
Okay. It was 3.
Oh, okay.
And in what categories? Or categories?
Top duo. Top group.
Top Gun.
Well, I have to at least try to say male vocalist of the year, album of the year, and new artist of the year.
These are fantastic. All 3 were in gospel recording.
Oh man, I wish I'd thought about that. Of course they were.
For the songs How Great Thou Art, He Touched Me, and
Battle Hymn of the Republic.
and his live recording of How Great Thou Art. It was really great. So that was it. That's a little Elvis trivia to take away to the water cooler today.
I heard an interview really early on. So he came to Canada like before Jailhouse Rock came out. So there's an interview just after his concert in Vancouver, which is a famous concert, especially at the time.
Could you imagine?
Because it caused a riot.
Oh, I bet.
Like crazy riot. Vancouver's just kind of weird like that. When the Beatles came to Vancouver way back when, they had to stop the show because Vancouver was so ridiculous.
And when we had the run on the Stanley Cup in '94.
That. So anyway, he said you could tell there's this interview out there that there's just a ton of radio guys around him with microphones all asking crazy questions, and they're like, so would you say it? One question that was funny, do you think rock and roll is here to stay or is it dying? And he's like, well, I don't think it's dying, but I'm not saying it won't, but not yet. And so I'm like, Yeah, rock and roll's still here. But the other one was, is it your favorite music? He goes, oh, not even close. Spiritual music.
Oh, he's put gospel as number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had, like, it's funny in terms of like all classic versions that his How Great Thou Art is pretty great.
Yeah.
It's actually fantastic.
Yeah, totally.
When we were in Vegas, we went to go see an Elvis impersonator in this like sketch old place, and they didn't even have bookings like via Ticketmaster. It was still a phone service. And it was weird because when you called in, and as it was going through in its options, you had to press 1 for the money or 2 for the show. And it was just, it was very bizarre.
I own a pair of blue suede shoes, actually. He was so into his gospel music. Well, that's why he has a so famous backup group that he has, the Jordanaires, which featured J.D. Sumner, the lowest bass singer in the world at the time. Maybe ever. And
Gordon Sumner is a bass player.
Right?
Think about that.
I will for a minute. So J.D. Sumner and the Stamps, J.D. Sumner and the Jordanaires, they toured with him, both Southern gospel groups.
Because he tried to get into a gospel group and then was rejected. It was a little. I'm not even messing.
I haven't heard this part.
Well, as I was going through on the trivia things, he was a part of our audition for a 4-part gospel quartet sort of thing and was declined.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, but like kicking themselves now.
They're in that same interview
his gyrations at the concert just don't go over with the church ladies.
No, they don't.
That's a lot of gyrations.
He was asked. Oh man, what did you say before gyrations?
I know it gets good.
I got lost.
Elvis gyrations just push whatever you're thinking right out of your mind.
It did.
Yeah.
They asked him, do you also enjoy serious music? And he's like, serious music? What do you mean? And they're like, well, like opera or symphony. He goes, no, I don't understand it at all. I can appreciate it, but I don't understand it. He goes, jazz either. I don't get it.
Because it's bizarre.
So
he did that song. It was like on, because he did like 600 songs or something like that. But he had that one that it was like a French cake song.
What?
In the gâteau.
You're the worst. How do I not see these coming?
In the ghetto.
Oh man, I have like literally. And cried. Like, what? French cake? I know. I think I could list a lot of his songs, not 600. Back to the gospel though, or not gospel, but How Great Thou Art. I remember him being asked, "Do you like doing the ballads?" And he's like, "No, I don't have a good enough voice for ballads. I way rather do the rock stuff because he doesn't think his voice is good enough." And one would argue it's not, but he's so unique.
Exactly. That's it. You're not looking for it. I think it's one of the weirdest things about that particular like outside looking in music industry thing. It's being a little different that is like part of the ticket. It's not, oh, their voice is just so amazing.
No, in fact, some of the most amazing voices don't do it. And they might end up on a Disney soundtrack for a movie.
Sure.
But they'll never be a star.
Right. They're like, it's pure.
And then Bob Dylan
right
comes
on
along.
Hey, how does it feel?
Big hit. Think of it all. Bob Dylan, although he's it's
like, what did he just say? Is he having a stroke?
Sometimes it's the singer-songwriter complex.
Get Bob some medicine.
He can write.
Now, I'd heard this. I don't know if it's accurate because Elvis is on a number as a co-writer, but that he wrote 0 of his songs.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I think it was of the 600 songs, but he's credited for 50% because of on some songs because of something to do with the contract about blah 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 that he wouldn't take the song, and his record label or whatever wouldn't let him do the song unless he was accredited with 50% of the whatever, something like that. But that he actually wrote none of them.
Do you remember Mylon Lefevre?
Yeah, Broken Heart.
Broken Heart. Yeah. So Mylon Lefevre, as a 12-year-old, wrote a song that Elvis recorded.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like crazy.
This funny little, I mean, his family was in music. The Lefevres was a Southern gospel group. And so somehow he had it in and was able to pitch a song to Elvis at
this
12
may
or
sound
13-year-old.
Like horribly conceited, and Village Children, you can chime in.
No, you're better looking than Elvis, for sure.
I didn't want to say it. No, but in terms of writing a song, you look at it and go, how hard is that? Because I know you're a songwriter, and you just look at it and go like, that doesn't look that hard.
So I can speak from experience that I know I can write lyrics.
Yes.
Can't write a song. I have. They're out there.
Right.
But they're not good. They're not great. Whereas many of my friends, actually several of my friends are the opposite. They're like, struggle with the lyrics. It's like, yeah, sea to shining sea is taken. No more lyrics can say that. Like, there's only so many songs that have already said that message that way.
There's only so many words.
So yeah, so I couldn't write. I mean, maybe if I was more musically trained, but yeah, I can sometimes hear it once you're halfway through it, but
well, they say these like stories. It's like, oh yeah, I wrote that song in 10 minutes.
Yeah, so
it's like, it looks really simple. Like, you're like, how did the song get famous?
But that's the thing. Some of the famous ones are that simple. So yeah, you are right, and that some songs are that stupidly simple that you're like, how did that happen? You know Prince's song Kiss? Mm-hmm. If you listen to the recording of it, there's barely any music. It's so empty. And all the producer, it was recorded before him, and it was quite by a full band, and it was like, it was an okay song. And then the way he did it, where he removed everything, there's almost no music behind him other than and his crazy falsetto voice, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I think Elvis.
Louie, 3 notes.
It's fair enough,
right?
Elvis's his last like big hit, like against the bathroom sink with his head.
I saw this one coming.
When he ricocheted his head off the bathroom sink, that was a huge hit.
I had to years ago. You know the Merritt Mountain Music Festival?
Yeah.
So in its very first year, it wasn't called that. It was called something else. It was at the Agridome in Abbotsford before it became a bigger deal.
Okay.
And I was asked to MC the whole thing. So I shouldn't even call it the Merritt Mountain Music Festival because it was like one drop in the bucket to what the festival actually became.
It was only a hill.
There was like 100 people there.
Merritt Hill.
200 people there. And I remember making
Merritt Amphitheater.
Like, I'm trying to introduce all these groups, and none of which I'm not a country music listener, let alone Canadian country music. I'm like, I don't know anybody. Do my best, and they were all. It was a small thing, so they're all local. Anyway, long story short, is getting up there, and I'm running out of jokes and things to say, and they're like, stall. I'm like, hey, you guys want to see my Elvis impersonation?
Oh no.
So I just dropped to the ground and put my hands over my chest like this.
Did you get harsh booed?
And I got some laughs that turned into a boo. And then I'm like, come on. And I'm like, fair enough.
That, guys.
I said, fair enough. You know what Elvis would say right now if he were alive? Let me out of this box. That got boos.
Did you jump right in with like a Stephen Hawking impression and Christopher Reeves, or
just hit up all the faved early too soon? Yeah.
Oh, man. You know how to work a crowd. Go to
fun.
a music festival and do dead Elvis impressions. Oh, that's up there, man. Well, where are we at here? Oh, okay. We should get into some where this bad boy came from.
Oh, is it? Are we?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Jump
Okay,
in.
here we go.
Let's make this. Let's go.
I said some words. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
Groovy, baby. Groovy. This one was
Elvis has left the building.
We've used a few from that movie.
Independence Day.
Independence Day. Elvis has left the building as an idiom. How would you use it?
At the end of when anything ends.
So
it's
time
over.
to go.
This podcast is done. Elvis has left the building.
So I found a list of ways it's used. So yeah, it's all over and done with. It's the end, or the party is over, or something is done and it's time to leave. Mm-hmm. Or if people are waiting for something and it's clearly not going to happen, you're like, forget it. Elvis has left the building. Mm-hmm. So it's the end of something. So no big mystery. This expression came from Elvis Presley concerts. But what is interesting is the first time it was ever used was in 1956 by Horace Logan.
When?
And
Who?
1956 by Horace Logan. He was the announcer at the Louisiana Hayride show where Elvis was a regular performer. So a bunch of teenagers were there, and his performance was done, and the crowd, but there was performers following him, most of which were hillbilly, because Elvis kind of has hillbilly roots in his music going, if you go back far enough.
Well, he's a Mississippi boy.
Yeah, and
Tupelo, Mississippi.
That's right. And so people were not leaving because he was done, but they were getting up. They wanted to see him. Like, where's he going? Is he leaving the building? Like, where is he? And so Horace Logan got up, and this is the exact quote. All right. Elvis has left the building. I've told you absolutely straight up at this point. You know that he has left the building. He left the stage, went out the back with the policeman, and he is now gone from the building. That's the actual first quote from the first time it was ever said. Trying to get the teens to sit back down, not to get them to leave.
Oh, yeah, that's
because from
super
then
easy.
on, it was about getting the audience to leave. Like, Elvis is gone. Elvis has left the building. Please exit. This time it was, please find your seats.
Yeah, I would think that knowing that the song is ending, that you might make a beeline for like the back of the theater to try and catch him on his way out, or like,
Right.
Sign my baby. Yeah. Sign my
I
forehead.
guarantee that most times when they said Elvis has left the building, he's in the green room. I bet you anything. Because there'll be some people
Do you think like a
just
little
watching for him.
A little hick parade situation or fairgrounds is a green room?
Maybe not there.
in
Not there.
Hayride,
I mean, when he was playing Coliseums and...
Hayride, Mississippi.
Do you know where he played in Vancouver?
I'm gonna go Coliseum.
Empire Stadium.
Oh wow! Oh
Yeah.
next door neighbor, but
Which was only 2 years old at the time. So it was a brand new... I mean, it was designed for football and track, but...
something that contained him.
Yeah.
Swangard or maybe. But I could see.
Yeah,
Empire.
something like... Yeah, not as much seating at Swangard, but it's that type of venue. Outdoor Empire. Did you ever go to Empire for anything?
No, I just saw it from the Peony Fairgrounds. Like looked above.
I went to a few Whitecaps and or BC Lions games that used to all be there.
Yeah.
And
Before we got like a real stadium.
yeah, it's hard to believe the Lions played at Empire.
It is. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty tiny for that. So during the 1970s, fast forward, Elvis is now the world's biggest star ever, king of rock and roll. I'm going to try and say this properly, Dvorin, Al Dvorin. Al Dvorin. He was regularly on tour with Elvis and became the announcer. There's actually, you can find a YouTube of him years and years later talking about how he became that. And he was just, one night, Colonel Tom Parker is like, okay, this guy's never allowed on the microphone again. You're saying it tonight. What do I say? Anything to just get them to leave. Well, everybody, and he's just, ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building. And so he did it at every show.
Isn't that funny what catches
from then on? Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building. I do have one right here. This is Al Dvorin at an actual 1972 concert of Elvis, and here he is saying it right here. Oh man!
I've been editing all my videos for years.
This is why I should have tested them all.
Well, that's okay. It's completely
Okay,
fine.
let me mute
just
it.
try that
Let
again.
the ad play.
We can work through that. It's only a couple seconds. So, Al Dvorin.
Al Dvorin. So he became.
Footage. Here we go.
He became the announcer. I gotta scroll to the right part here. Luckily, I wrote it down.
It's all good. It's worth it in my mind.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ready? That is Al Dvorin in all his glory.
That's so funny. He's like Michael Buffer.
See,
it's like you became famous for.
But that's his claim to fame.
Let's
right
get
there.
ready to rumble.
That's kind of fun. That's what he's known for. Like if he was able to talk about anything, he can go, I'm famous for...
I'm the guy that saw Elvis. Like, I didn't actually see him because he'd already left by the time I got there, but
right.
I was really close a lot of times.
I was really close and sometimes saw him from a distance, but I always said, ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building.
I'm the guy that was like just real super close to seeing Elvis a few times. I know like people in the stands actually saw him more than me, but
yeah,
that's my claim to fame.
So that's really all there is to it is... Al Dvorin made it famous.
What do me and Al Dvorin have in common? We both never seen Elvis.
Comes out after. Did I miss it again? Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building. I've been to Graceland.
Cool.
Yeah, that was all that you would expect it to be. Graceland, so he's buried there, or at least it looks like he is, whether he really is or not.
He's
got like a whole memorial tombstone, above ground coffin looking thing, which actually feeds into the rumors that he's not dead, because his middle name, Aaron, is spelled wrong on the tombstone.
Yeah, had it changed, I think. It was A-R-O-N.
Oh, they did get it changed?
No. That it was changed, like, because he was born with only one A. A-R-O-N as opposed to A-A-R-O-N.
He was only born with one A? It's one of the saddest stories. And that's kind of the point of today's podcast, is at the end of this, we're going to give you an opportunity to help other children who are born with only one A.
People have their names spelled wrong, but they don't know
They're
it.
just born like that.
Yeah, don't hold it against them.
No.
It's just how they are. They're people too.
They're just as special.
Well, we got to get
as you
things
and me.
rolling. This podcast is done. People are finished exercising. so let's get into some riddlings, baby.
Yeah, you want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well.
Riddling
is a game we like to play. It takes a two-part trivia-based question, requires a two-part but overlapping answer, overlapping by syllable, words, plural. So, for example, let me give you a little tasty taste. Last week, our idiom was the golden rule, and you left us with a doozy. See if you can remember your own puzzle. Mike Tyson's manager has the golden touch.
He's Don King Midas.
Don King Midas. So that's how it works. Don King, King Midas. They overlap by the word king. That's how you play riddling.
That's fun.
I got a couple.
Let me get the ball rolling here. All right. The King of Rock died of drug overdose, not by being shot by Jack Ruby. The King of Rock died of drug overdose, not by being shot by Jack Ruby.
Jack Ruby. So Elvis or Elvis Presley died of a drug overdose, not being shot by Jack
Illegitimate
Ruby.
children. This is your time to shine.
I'm gonna need a hint on Jack Ruby.
Well, it's a downstream of killers, beginning with President Kennedy.
Assassins?
He's the guy who Oswald. Okay, so there was Ruby killed this person. This person killed Kennedy, allegedly. And his name is Elvis Presley.
Lee Harvey Oswald. Okay, Elvis Presley, Lee Harvey Oswald. Man,
so close.
I've also been to where Kennedy was assassinated.
I was with you. With Dealey Plaza.
Should have remembered Jack Ruby. I couldn't get Titanic out of my head.
That's okay.
It's about a guy named Jack and a ruby, or a stone anyway.
Yeah. Jack Reacher. Okay, here we go.
Is it Jack Reacher?
No.
Oh.
Okay, you got one for me?
Oh, right. My turn.
Jack Reacher on the Titanic. So,
what do you get when you cross the announcer that made Elvis.Has.Left.The.Building famous with knock knock, who's there, citrus fruit? I had the hardest time this week.
So DeVries?
So
DeVries?
Al Devoren. Al Devoren. Cross Al Devoren with knock knock, who's there, citrus fruit.
It's funny because all I can think of is banana, which is not a citrus fruit.
But you're in the right joke.
It's orange.
Yeah.
Aldevorange? Nothing rhymes with Devorange.
So I was hoping you'd go with Al Devorange. You glad I didn't say banana.
Oh, okay.
Al Devorange. You glad I didn't say banana.
I was stuck because
I had a hard time with this one.
Nothing rhymes with Devorange.
The only thing I had Elvisectomy, and I'm like, nah, that's not good. But it goes with being born with only one A.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay,
I'll say it twice.
All right.
Elvis says, 2 for the show, puts chicks for free in dire straits.
1 for the money for nothing?
I'll say it again. Elvis says 2 for the show, puts chicks for free in dire straits, and the answer is...
Was I wrong?
No, you were very correct.
1 for the money for nothing.
1 for the money for nothing.
That's a tongue twister. 1 for the money for nothing, 1 for the money for nothing, 1 for the money for nothing.
Good job.
That's great. I like that one.
That's fun.
Well, I got one more that I think you're going to really enjoy. I probably should have given you this one.
That's okay.
But we'll leave it hanging.
Well, before we conclude, we'd love it We'd just be thrilled if you would reach out to us. That would really make our day.
Reach out and let us know how you can help children born
With only one A.
with only one A.
Message us on Instagram.
That's why it's the King of Rock and not the King of Rocks. He's only born with one.
This vasectomy, I don't think it means what you think it means. Reach out to us on Instagram at the.village.idiom or email us thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's the YouTubes, the Facebook, or the Twitters at 3 Minutes Gone.
So what makes this one so great is the answer,
Okay.
which we won't find out until next week. So hopefully people will get it. What do you get when you cross? I don't know. I was on a what do you get when you cross kick this week. What do you get when you cross Elvis's 11th movie with Motley Crue's 4th album?
Oh, no, that's going to require a
Let
little
me read
research.
it again. What do you get when you cross Elvis's 11th movie with Motley Crue's 4th album?
And these is over. That's 3 minutes gone.
Do you think you got it?
No, I don't want to say what I think I have in case it is, but I can already tell it's not because I'm missing half.
Okay.
Anyways.
So was Elvis.
Well, Elvis has left the building. I am Skitty.
I am Jurassic Mark. I got this for you.
And these
though.
are the Village Idioms.
I mentioned J.D. Sumner. Listen to this.
Now the show is over and the curtain has come down.
I'm trying to not get a copyright ban on this.
Elvis has left the building,
But
but will always be around.
Got dark there.
that's 3 minutes gone.